Sometimes RuPaul just needs to say, "Ladies, you may not have been the worst of the week, but a lip sync between you would be great for the storyline. Therefore, get ready to lip sync for your lie." About a month ago, I made a video about 5 times Drag Race producers forced a lip sync to happen. As many of you in the comments let me know, there are plenty of more cases where this was true. So if you haven't seen that video, check it out here. For today's video, just like last time, we'll be discussing 5 times Drag Race producers put 2 queens in the bottom despite them maybe not being the worst queens of the week. There are a few different reasons why producers might do this, but all you need to know is that the producers are going to produce. Whatever makes the best TV is going to happen. I'll be running through 5 examples of forced lip syncs that the producers caused for various different reasons. The first lip sync we'll be talking about is from way back during season 4. At the top 5, the queens that were left were Sharon Needles, Chad Michaels, Latrice Royale, and Fifi O'Hara, who now goes by Jeremy Carey, and I will be referring to as Jeremy Carey for the remainder of the video. All 4 of those queens had multiple wins and had great storylines set up for the finale. The last queen in that top 5 was Dita Ritz. Dita never placed higher than safe the entire season, so by the time we were at the top 5, the writing was on the wall for Miss Dita. The problem was, Dita is an amazing lip syncer. She has one of the best, if not the greatest lip sync performance of all time with her This Will Be lip sync. They couldn't just put anyone in the bottom for a lip sync because they might be sent home by Dita. The producers had to be strategic. The season 4 top 5 challenge was the political debate. Here we saw the queens create characters and participate in a debate to become the first drag president. We saw the queens go a number of different directions here, but the one queen who really struggled was Dita. She just seemed nervous and didn't really have the quick responses that most of the other queens had. The other 2 queens that could have foreseeably been in the bottom were Jeremy Carey and Latrice Royale. Latrice delivered one of the most iconic lines in Drag Race history with this read on Jeremy.
Can you give us an example of a time when you made peace with someone you didn't see eye to eye with?
About 5 minutes ago, I looked across at Miss O'Hara and realized that she was ugly. And I'm at peace with that.
That alone should have saved her from the bottom. The problem was the producers weren't sure that Jeremy could defeat Dita in a lip sync. For this reason, Latrice was dropped into the bottom 2 position. And with the bottom 2 song being a Gladys Knight song, Latrice was set up to send Dita home. And that's exactly what she did. The Dita situation has happened a couple of different times over Drag Race, but I think this is the most famous case of a queen being sent home because they were too good of a lip syncer and not too good at the competition. Most of the time, the queens that end up in the bottom who maybe don't deserve to be there are due to a close relationship between those queens. And there's no closer relationship than siblings. And no, we're not talking about drag siblings here, we are talking about the first biological twins cast on Drag Race for the same season. That's Sugar and Spice. And when their casting was announced, I think it seemed pretty clear to anyone watching that a lip sync between them was a foregone conclusion. I personally thought that that lip sync would come much later in the season, but 4 episodes in, we were already at that point. Season 15 had the famous double snatch game, where all 14 queens competed in 2 separate snatch games. If ever there was a chance to hide in a snatch game, this was the one to do it. There were some queens that we saw hardly anything from, like Robin Fierce or Anitra or even Sasha Colby. We really only saw one response from a bunch of different queens. You either had to be really good or really bad to stand out here. Unfortunately for Sugar and Spice, they fell into that really bad category. The bottom 3 for this episode all came from the second snatch game and included Sugar, who played Trisha Paytas, Spice, who played Miley Cyrus, and Aura Mayari, who played Bretman Rock. While both Sugar and Spice were pretty rough, I thought Aura had the worst snatch game of the 3. She didn't really have any jokes that hit, and I think Rue just really wasn't feeling her Bretman. She did, however, have the best runway of the three for the Beautiful Nightmare category. But I'm not sure it was really enough to save her from the bottom. If it were up to me, I probably would have saved Sugar here because she had the least bad snatch game, and Spice and Aura would have lip-synced together. But at no point was that going to even be in the producer's mind. None of it mattered because Sugar and Spice were twins and they were going to end up lip-syncing at some point in the competition. With them both landing in the bottom for Snatch Game, this was their moment to have it. The season then went on with Spice only having one half of her brain. So we've talked about close relationships between queens. What about negative relationships between queens? Probably the most common reason queens end up lip-syncing together on weeks that they're not supposed to is because there's some sort of drama between them. And a fight in Untucked is the clearest reason why that might be happening. In my last video, I talked about the lip-sync between Tamisha Iman and Candy Muse. The producers the very next season tried the same trick with the Glamazon Prime challenge. For this challenge, we had the queens creating looks out of material that they found in Glamazon packages delivered to the workroom. This was the challenge that was famous for the rigged win by Jorgeous, where she wore cookie cutters and napkins and danced her way to her first challenge win. The judging was pretty all over the place, even outside of Jorgeous. The bottom three for this episode ended up being Maddie Morphosis, Jasmine Kennedy, and Deja Skye. The only one of these three that I think truly deserved to be in the bottom for this challenge was Maddie. Both Deja and Jasmine had a couple problems with their look, but they really weren't the worst of the week. I probably would have put Kerri Colby or even Jorgeous in the bottom three, with Maddie. However, when we got to Untucked, both Maddie and Jasmine were sure they were going to be in the bottom, and this led to an explosive fight between the two. With Maddie egging Jasmine on the entire time, the producers knew it didn't matter if Deja was planned to be in the bottom because Jasmine needed to be in that bottom with Maddie Morphosis, regardless of whose outfit was better. There was no way the producers were going to miss out on Jasmine Kennedy doing Beyonce's Sugar Mama versus Maddie Morphosis and completely destroying her. It ended with this lip sync, and I'm not sure Jasmine deserved to be there, but I'm glad that she was for this iconic moment. In my last video, I talked about how Kerri Colby was placed in the bottom so that they could see her lip sync in the iconic JLo dress. Today, I'm going to be talking about another case where the outfit played a role in why a queen was placed in the bottom too. The third episode of Drag Race Season 8 was RuCo's Empire, which was a parody of the Empire TV show. Is anyone else mad that we never got a true finale to Empire? You know, COVID just made it end with 3 episodes that never were filmed. Anyway, the bottom 3 for this challenge were Cynthia Lee Fontaine, Robbie Turner, and Derek Barry. The runway is significant in this challenge because it was the infamous roller skates runway. We saw quite a few queens struggle on the runway, including Bob the Drag Queen, who won the challenge, and Cynthia Lee Fontaine. I would have been an absolute disaster in this challenge. When I was a kid, I fell on roller skates and had to get stitches, and then I've never touched them ever since. This would literally be a nightmare. One queen, though, has amazing roller skate skills, and that's Robbie Turner. When she's not taking Ubers, she's rolling around on roller skates. So when the prospect of having a great roller skating queen in the bottom 2 to serve an amazing lip sync, the producers knew they had to make that happen. It didn't matter if Robbie or Derek was worse in that challenge because Robbie was going to end up in the bottom simply due to the fact that she knew roller skates on a roller skate week. As soon as Robbie Turner wanted to lip sync in Wheels, it was over for Cynthia. But honestly, it should have been over when she wore those Nike shorts on the runway. Oof. Robbie turned one of the most underrated lip syncs in Drag Race history with her performance to Mesmerize by Faith Evans. Cynthia may have been assassinated by Peppermint on Season 9, but I would say she was run over by Robbie on Season 8. This last example is something that doesn't happen too often on Drag Race. Drag queens have been naming themselves after pop stars, models, and actresses since the beginning of time, so it was only a matter of time until somebody lip-synced in front of their namesake. This finally happened on UK Series 1 when Cheryl Hole appeared on an episode with Cheryl Cole. If you're not familiar with Cheryl Cole, she is a British pop star who began her career as a member of the pop girl group Girls Aloud before she went solo. Cheryl Hole is the losingest contestant in UK series history, having appeared in 13 competitive episodes and has not won a single one. The episode that Cheryl Cole appeared on was not the girl group challenge, because that would have made too much sense. Instead, Cheryl appeared on the advertising challenge, where the queens had to create and advertise their own brand of water. Blue Hydrangea had probably the worst advertisement of the week, but the other two were likely between Cheryl Hole and Bag of Chips. At the time, there was a bit of controversy around this lip sync because Bag of Chips openly said in Untucked that she didn't learn the words to the lip sync. She likely should have been in the bottom over Cheryl, but with Bag being a production favorite, they had to find another course of action. And Cheryl provided them with probably the best alternative in Drag Race. She did alright in the advert, nothing amazing, nothing terrible, she got a couple laughs out of me. However, her namesake was sitting right there on the judges panel. The opportunity was too great to pass up, and I think Cheryl's probably happy that she wasn't safe this challenge, because she got to lip sync in front of Cheryl Cole. She murdered the lip sync to a Cheryl Cole song, and knocked out Blue Hydrangea, her best friend in the competition. I don't think Cheryl's very sad that she sent Blue home here. I think she's probably just glad that she was able to do something that no other queen on Drag Race has been able to do. And those are 5 more times that the producers forced a lip sync to happen in Drag Race history. I know there's probably even more. We probably can just keep going and going with this list with the number of franchises and lip syncs that we've had over the years. So let me know in the comments what your favorite forced lip sync was, and stay tuned for more fun stuff here on Wild Spear.